In this bonus objective, we're going to talk about coterminal and reference angles again, but in degrees instead of radians. So just remember, a coterminal angle is an angle that shares a terminal side with another angle. The way we did it when we were talking about radians was we added or subtracted 2 pi because 2 pi was a full revolution in radians. A reference angle is the little angle between the terminal side and the x-axis. Radians, this was pretty simple. You basically just looked at the denominator and that told you the reference angle. All right, so in degrees, it's a bit different. So first thing is, the coterminal part is not going to be much different. We're just going to use a full circle. And so a full circle in degrees is 360 degrees. So I'm going to do it with 788 is I'm going to subtract 360. And that means that 788 is coterminal to 428. 428 is still not smaller than 360, so I'm going to do it again. So 428 minus 360 is 68 degrees. So my coterminal angle is 68 degrees. This isn't much different than we did in radians. We're just using the degree measurement 360 instead of the radian measurement 2 pi. And then what quadrant is that going to be in? All right, our quadrantal angles for degrees are 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. Again, those are on your unit circle that you had to memorize in Unit 11, so you can just reference that. 68 is in between 0 and 90, so it's in quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, the angle is its own reference angle because it's the same, so our reference angle is 68 degrees. All right, we're going to do the same thing here for negative 890. With the negative angles, we're going to add 360 because we want to get to a positive angle. So I'm going to start at negative 890 and add 360 to it. That's negative 530. Still not positive, so I'm going to add another 360 to it. That's negative 170. Still not positive, so I'm going to add another 360 to it. And I get 190. So finally, 190 is the coterminal angle. What quadrant is that going to be in? Again, if we think about our quadrants. $190 is a little bit bigger than 180, so it's going to be in quadrant 3. And here's where the reference angle is a little bit harder in degrees than radians. We need to find the little angle between our angle and the x-axis. So the reference angle in this case is going to be that angle there. So the way I think about this one is in quadrant 3, I basically need to get rid of the half circle part because I just want that. So what I'm going to do is just take 190 and subtract 180 from it. That'll get rid of this part and just give me the little part I want. And it gives me my reference angle of 10 degrees. Right? I do 190 minus 180. And that gives me that little reference angle there. Right, same thing for this one, 1041. Right, this is a bigger angle, so I'm going to subtract 360 from it. So the first time I subtract 360, I see that this is coterminal to 681. That's still too big, so I subtract 360 again. And that's coterminal to 321. That's at 321 degrees. That's smaller than 360, so that is my small coterminal angle. Right. What quadrant is going to be in? That's bigger than 270 and smaller than 360, so that puts it in quadrant 4. So quadrant 4 is the quadrant. And then what's the reference angle? The reference angle is this angle here. And the way I think about this one in quadrant 4, I have my angle that gets me all the way here. And then my reference angle is a little bit that would complete the full circle. So my reference angle, let's just call it like A, plus the angle I already have should equal 360. Right, the reference angle plus the angle I already have completes the circle. So I subtract 321 from both sides, and I get 39 degrees. Right, so looking at the reference angle is helpful to draw a little picture and kind of figure out how is your angle related to what you already have, and using the things you know to get your reference angle. So here's one for you to try on your own. All right, 588, find those 3 things. And here's the three things you get. So the coterminal angle, if I subtract 360, I get 228. What quadrant is it in? It's bigger than 180, but smaller than 270, so it's in quadrant 3. And just like the other one we saw in quadrant 3 earlier, if I subtract off the kind of top half of the circle, I just get the part I want. So I'm going to subtract off 180 degrees. My reference angle is 48 degrees. All right, so for the study objective, we're going to complete some problems on Delta Math. It's going to be a total of 8 problems. We have to do these 3 separate things.